So just taking even just what we talked about,
That's
what I'm
family.
saying? That's family.
That's right.
Taking what we just talked about and now putting it into the topic and the title, right? We're looking at a whole different type of contemporary spirituality, or it's almost, one could say it's like we have our own individual religion, or of course it's our own individual type of spiritual, how we not project, but how we move in spirit, right? So somebody could say, oh, that's the religion of Malak, or that's the religion of Zokane, Yazakar, that's the religion of Kazakh.
Or
And I was
religion of Tao.
religion of
Tao.
Tao.
The Tao or Taoism just
Gotcha.
means the way.
Right, the way. So bringing it forward and looking at, like, man, we have so many things playing out in our society. Like, for those who are watching, how can we encourage? I don't even know if I want to use the word teach, but like give them guidelines or structures of how to carry that out for themselves.
Hold on, let me look something up real quick.
Well,
Okay.
I would say some things is we can always go back to prayer, meditation, eating certain foods, breathing properly.
Breathing.
You know, I heard some earlier this week from a guy that's, you know, big on eating. His wellness thing is from eating properly, or what
Right.
have you. And he said something profound about you're not getting enough oxygen to your cells, right?
Right.
So, you know, my first thought, since I do breath stuff things, well, you're not breathing properly to get enough oxygen to your cells.
Right.
Now, it could be from food too. You know, you can get oxygen from those foods and everything like that. But when we're looking at the whole catalyst of that healing process, those are the steps I would encourage people to do. Like going into, you know, food health, yoga, meditation, breathwork journeys, breathwork meditations, breathing properly, always, you know, be on your mind or your frontal lobe to breathe properly. If you know how to. You know, some people may not know how to.
Right.
You know, so those things would probably have to be taught or shown to someone how to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So with that, that's what I would begin with.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Malak. Well, I mean, I could go while you.
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, for anyone that's listening, going through it again, I'm gonna always reaffirm this: going through a spiritual awakening, or just trying to seek understanding, and with all the things going on in the world today. First, I would say is prayer. Absolutely, prayer. If you believe in a higher power, whatever you call that higher power, you know, that is your power. You know, your belief and trust in that higher power is tantamount in moving forward. So prayer is first and foremost. Number two, and I'm giving you the order that my spiritual support team, some would say spirit guides or angelic beings, have told me. Open your heart. Learn to love. And I know some of you are saying, well, I do love, because I said the same thing. I do love. But when you really start asking yourself, what is love? How do you love? Do I love? You have terms like unconditional love, unselfish love, and then you have conditional love. You know, learn to love and find out what love is, because a lot of us, we consider love a situation based on fear, control, and guilt.
Right.
Right? I'll say it again. A lot of people think that love is based on fear, control, and guilt. You know, somebody will guilt you, put you on a guilt trip, especially if they know you the most. family members, husband and wives, so on and so forth. Fear. Oh, if you don't do this for me or whatever the case may be, I'm going to leave. Or, oh, well, you do that if you want to. You see what's going to happen. That's fear.
Right.
And then guilt, well, I mean, if you don't want to, I mean, it's okay. I guess I'm just going to have to just go over in this corner and just cry or whatever. But look at what you consider love and what it's based on. Or is it, and it's all based on health, and the Spirit will give you discernment on what unconditional, unselfish is versus conditional or selfish love. So I'm not gonna in this segment go into that, but look into that. Like so Kane said, breathing and meditation. One of my favorite types of meditation is focusing on the breath. A lot of people say, well, I tried meditation, it doesn't work for me. Well, how many times did you try? Because anytime you want to do something, you take the time to practice it. Whether it be a sport, art, music, whatever, practice or perfect practice makes perfect. So practice. Don't try it once or twice and say, oh, man, I keep thinking about stuff. I can't stay focused on my heart, on my breathing. No. When you mess up and you start thinking about something, in that moment, recalibrate and go back to focus on the breath. So I'm gonna leave it there. I don't know how much time do we have left.
We just said about 60 minutes.
Okay.
Come on, let's keep on.
He said keep on rolling. So breath work and in the prayer and meditation definitely. And I have a plethora of books, and people come to me and say, brother, you read this, you read that. What do you think I should start with? I can only go off of my foundation and where I started, and then segued into all the different myriads of different things that I read. I read the scriptures, the Holy Bible, the Torah, the Tanakh. That is my foundation. Now, is that all I stand on? No, it's not the only thing that I stand on. But it is my foundation. It keeps me balanced. That's what I use for me. Now, somebody else, it might be the Quran. That might be their foundation. And I respect that because I have read the Quran. So you have to find out what type of foundation that you want to use for your discernment. Your discernment for what is the highest good for you, or that which is not for your highest good. So I'll leave it at that for now.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay. Got something, Odon? I know you just came in the building. My man, what you got?
Do we need to bring you up to speed?
That would be much obliged. But I'm just listening. We talking about breathwork, meditation, things. How?
Well, we're talking about like if somebody's watching the show, they're going through a spiritual awakening, or they're trying to figure out what to do with all the things that we see. We kind of talked about the hip hop, and how it was when it first started, and how it is now.
Right.
How it's influencing the youth. And it's a lot of things going on that some could say is negative in the world, even in the music and in the industry. So if somebody's going through a spiritual awakening, like what would you suggest to like help them find people like yourself or myself or, Zokane, Malak, what should they do?
Well, in all honesty, your spirit guides will tell you what to do. You'll just have an inclination of what to do. You'll have that feeling. There's no specific training or requirement that I will say you have to do this. Like you'll know from inside, like there's a change that's happening, and from there you'll go into different circles. You'll just start meeting new people, and you're like, why did I meet this person? Or dang, that was an interesting conversation. It's something about that's appealing to me. Maybe I need to contact this person more often. I think that's what kind of happened between me and my fellow brothers, or Akeem right here. It's like I met him through my Spanish brother, and then from there I met these other two through him. And next thing you know, it was just like, okay, we was going through a different transition at a time. I think everything was divinely orchestrated and coordinated for the awakening to happen, especially at the different ages of life that we are here. Me being the youngest, Zokane being the more seasoned, you know. So from there, I think there is no right way. If you're looking for spiritual enlightenment or a transfiguration and your psyche or anything like that, I think with you seeking, you will find it. It's basically law of attraction. And sometimes you don't even seek it. Like, it'll just come to you. Sometimes. Like, it's crazy, you know?
Yeah, and I think that that's the you know, there are some people who like to quantify these types of experiences, right? They have, they meet certain metrics, to be definitive in, how they integrate themselves into this frame of reference, right? And I would suggest that, one thing that Denzel said was, you'll know from within. And that's really the root of the word educate, right? Is to lead from within. Right? Which I think might be different from being a teacher. If you're an educator, that's different. If you're a teacher, that's different because the words have different meanings. But on the premise of what Denzel said, right? As you're learning these things inwardly, now you can begin to, you will learn how to organize how you are joining together spirit and truth.
And that's going to be application.
It is. And that's unique for what's developed. That's unique for what's required for your soul development. You know what I mean? So like,
So we all not saying the same exact thing?
I'm sorry?
So we all don't have to say the exact same, exact thing?
Even in that, you never do say the same exact thing. Right. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's really no such, well, let me not say that. Saying the same thing is that can probably be very constricting on the soul because we don't express ourselves the same way. There may be similarities, right? But we know that expression is different for everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we all encode and decode differently.
Right.
So with everything that you might be coming into, right, whatever knowledge bases that you're gaining, right, I think that you should welcome the opportunity to organize those experiences, right, and categorize them in how you're, like I said earlier, joining truth and spirit. And yeah, y'all said it all. Y'all said it all already. You know what I'm saying? And to tie it back into the topic, right? We were talking about music being a venue, right? And that being tied to a social status. And, from there, it has its linkages to what we may know as religion or spirituality, right? But, there's no one lane, as the brother said earlier, right? There's no one lane, no set anything, right, to get from point A to point B. Right? If you look at a mountain,